Now, these stories surface and are circulated concurrently, at least at various times in history, concurrently with the emergence of the great power of the world, Babylon. And I have in your notes, I made of something called the Ziggurat of Babylon. By the way, that is not an actual photo, okay? Ansel Adams didn't take that picture. Okay, and it is sort of like last week when we did the Ark of the Covenant. This is an artist's conception of these high places. Remember, in Canaanite culture, you hear about high places, and that's often associated in their worship life. And a ziggurat is a human construction, sometimes built upon already a high place in the mountains, but it's associated with the people. And Babylon was famous for ziggurats, or these towers, the Tell of Tucumcari. Tell is just another word for a hill, or a mountain, or a high place. And there actually was a famous ziggurat of Babylon, and let me see if I can say it's Etamananki, which was, it may have looked something like this, based upon historical work. And the Babylonians built it with the intent of getting more heavenward, more heavenward. Okay. The outcome of the story is humanity is at its climax as it comes to Genesis 11. And it chooses in that accomplishment to glorify the self. And it does so, interestingly, through a collective effort. But it's an independent effort. They do it as a group in order to bring glory unto themselves, accomplishment, to put themselves on the cover of the Rolling Stone. And it's not unrelated to the evolving stories of Genesis 1 through 11. And let me just put this out and then we'll be done. What happens in Genesis 3? In Genesis 3, this serpent comes along and says, I can make your life better. And one of the ways for making your life better is by you declaring independence. And here's how you gain your independence. And they go, let's do it. And away they go. And Cain, the next big story, Cain and Abel. God says, here's a way we're going to get along. Here's the way and Cain says, I think I'll do it my way. And, I know what's best. So rather than the Babel story, rather than multiplying and filling the earth, which was God's commission post-Noah, which is where we are in this story, how are you going to honor God in your world and in your life? Well, fulfill, multiply. Fulfill the earth. Accomplish. Take dominion over the earth. Yeah, that's nice. Let's build a tower. And so off they go. Some of you may have read Friedrich Nietzsche, the great German philosopher, and an atheist, by the way. But Nietzsche said, all humans have a will to power and to assert themselves against the masses and to rise to the top of the heap. It is the nature of the human being. I'm sure that Nietzsche read Genesis 3. But if he didn't, he needed to go back and reread Genesis 1 through 11. Because those are stories that explain some of these things. But Nietzsche is onto it there. And that story is happening. Babel is the symbol of this all. The claims for unity are often claims that are disguised as a temporary alliance for me to rise up and to finally assert my authority. Meaning I'll make an alliance with Carl, but it's part of the human nature that sooner or later I'm going to say, thanks a lot, Carl. You got me on top of the mountain, and so long. I am a pretty good student of early World War II history, and every time I read about Stalin making the pact with Hitler, I go, boy, these must be two of the dumbest guys on earth. And I know Hitler was a good student of Nietzsche and that sort of nihilistic. But for Stalin to sit back and say, I can make a deal with the devil here. Of course, he knew the devil because he shaved him every morning. So you know, it was just takes one to know one sort of a thing. But it's, once again, it's, tell you what, we'll carve up Poland, each of us, and you promise not to attack me, and I'll promise not to attack you. And both Stalin and Hitler, okay, it's a deal. That's what's going on in this story here. By the way, the last word, Acts chapter 2, the Pentecost story. You get a hint of something that God is doing, even to redeem Genesis 11, in my opinion. And I'm not the only one that thinks this. The beginning of the reversal is there's a foretaste of it in the Babel, or in the Pentecost story, of the reunion that takes place in the name of Jesus Christ. And I don't think I have this in your notes, but Zephaniah 3:9, which is an Old Testament passage, has a strong hint of a day when that which is Babelized is restored to wholeness again. And that comes. So once again, the God who brings in accountability also is the God who takes it upon God to bring restoration and redemption. We had a foretaste of it in Acts chapter 2. We see it fulfilled in Zephaniah 3:9. And that's all, folks.